Patty! Possum Patty here. It is August 15th and I am out in the driveway nature journaling. It's kind of a cool cloudy day today, a little breezy, a little windy, a preview of fall. And I'm just having fun with this plant. This is called Purslane or Portulaca oleracea. And it's a succulent. And you can find this growing in most parts of the world. It is anthropogenic. That means where you find people, you can find this plant. And in a lot of parts of the world, this is eaten. So I have a quote here from Henry David Thoreau when he was at Walden Pond. "I have made a satisfactory dinner, satisfactory on several accounts. Simply a dish of purslane, which I gathered in my cornfield, boiled and salted." I like that quote because it reminds me of how I was first introduced to purslane as a culinary delight. I had joined a CSA, a community farm organization, where you put your money up front and then every week during the season you get your veggies and fruits from the farmer. And of course the year I joined it was a very bad drought and not much was growing at the farm. So what the farmer did was picked bags and bags and bags of this purslane and distributed it to his customers. Because this is a plant that can really tolerate the drought. This plant has skills. Now the purslane plant has skills to survive a drought. First of all, it can photosynthesize two different ways. And these two methods are called the C4 and the CAM, C-A-M. Both of these methods are more efficient methods of using CO2 in which they can keep their stomata, or the little pores where they exchange gases, closed more often than most other plants. They can even open up their stomata at night and take in carbon dioxide and store it as malic acid and then use it during the day for photosynthesis. And of course it's a succulent, so it can hold a lot of water in its leaves and in its stems. Now the purslane is a really good companion plant for other plants because it covers the ground like a ground cover so that the soil can retain moisture. And it also has a deep taproot. And the taproot can go through some pretty compacted soil. And other plants, even like corn, can send their roots down and follow the purslane's root down into the ground where it's already broken up the ground. With its deep roots, the purslane can bring up nutrients and moisture that other plants can't. You could probably write a book about the purslane because it has a very long history from ancient times with the Romans, the Aboriginal Australians, the Greeks, the Mexicans. Many cultures use this both as a food source and as a medicine. And I'm sure the recipes and the medical uses would quite fill a book. But I just like its leaves, kind of a wedge-shaped leaf. It's wider at the apex and more narrow at the base. And the leaves tend to be clustered where the side stems come off the main stem and at the end of the stem. So you can see long stretches of this very smooth stem. Kind of makes a really cool pattern. When it comes to nutrition, purslane is very nutritious with antioxidants and omega-3 fatty acids and several different vitamins. So this is probably a plant that people would spend tons of money on chemicals to eradicate it from their lawn, and then go out to the grocery store and buy food that's not nearly as nutritious as this is. You can recognize the purslane by this reddish color stem, which is very, very, very smooth, and these thick succulent leaves. Now the juice of the purslane is clear, so if you squeeze it and get the water out, it has a clear juice. You don't want to confuse this with the spurge, which also has sort of a reddish stem and grows along the ground. But if you break the spurge open, it has like a milky sap. And the spurge is poisonous. Now this is also poisonous to cats and dogs and horses because it's got oxalic acid in it. And I guess they can't digest that. But people can, because that's the same acid that's in spinach. So if you like spinach and those kinds of bitter greens, it's the same as the purslane, what's in it. Now I had a lot of fun drawing this. I did a contour drawing where you don't lift your pen from the paper, and I held it very loosely and just followed the contours of all the leaves and the stem. Went over each leaf 2 or 3 times. Just a very fun way to draw. And a lot of times before you start, it's a really good way to warm up. Before you start drawing or nature journaling, doing a contour drawing is just a really fun way of warming yourself up. It also makes you more familiar with what you're drawing, because you want to keep your eyes on the plant more than you do on your paper. So it doesn't matter what comes out on the paper, because your eyes have spent a long time looking at the plant. I'm going to show you how I did this contour drawing, and then I just splashed some watercolors on it for fun. So this was just a really fun page, because every time I see a purslane, I really want to say Portulaca, because it's so much fun to say Portulaca. And I want to draw it, because I just think these leaves are so fun. And another thing about the purslane, it has little tiny yellow flowers. This one's not open yet. So the little flowers come out on a sunny morning, and then after they're pollinated, and the flowers start making seeds. They make these little tiny capsules that have a little door in them, and then the door opens when the seed is ripe. And that's where their name Portulaca comes from, because Portulaca means little door. And after I had fun doing the contour drawing, I just splashed some watercolor on them. I used different greens, and of course yellow and blue, because yellow and blue makes green, and a little pink and red on the stem.
So I had a lot of fun today just doing a contour drawing, splashing watercolors on, and reading a lot about Purslane or Portulaca oleracea. Thanks for coming along today. Happy nature journaling. Bye-bye.